Let's go to Mark calling in from Colorado. Mark, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Hey, about 3 weeks ago, you guys were talking about Citizens United, and it seemed to have been roundly dissed in the room. And I came to the conclusion that most people really don't seem to understand Citizens United. Of course, we know that what the left had to say about it largely wasn't true. The idea that it was about corporations becoming people, because
it's about corporations having speech, right?
Well, hold on a second. Sadly, we know that corporations have been people for a long time legally, so that couldn't have been it.
Persons.
Right, persons, right. Well, Romney famously came out and said corporations are people too, and all this garbage.
Right.
I'm not for that. However, there was a good Cato podcast after the decision that pointed out that what it was really about was about speech being abridged by the government at all for arbitrary reasons. And arbitrary reasons in this case being because it's political speech. Hello, is there something wrong with that? Of course there is. The idea that political speech is a special kind of speech that they can abridge is insane. And that's the reason it was struck down. Now,
I don't know. I didn't know anything about Citizens United. I got to say, I mean, I'm just coming into this conversation. I wasn't here when they were originally talking about Citizens United. So I just went to go find out a little bit about it as you're talking about it here. And the first thing that I see, I'm kind of disgusted by, which is that I go to the Citizens United website, and the first thing that comes up is, tell President Obama it's time to deploy our National Guard on the border. And that's...
Hold on. I'm not apologizing for the way the political speech was used.
Well, this is what's on their website right now.
Yeah. So,
but I don't care about Citizens United in particular.
Okay.
The point is that the government is allowed through these scams to decide who can speak and who can't.
Sure.
And what Citizens United would have done is it would have kept small organizations that are designed to collect money so that ads can be put out for the people who give money to them, that being you and me, small organizations, being not able to do it because there's too much gluttonous paperwork required, so you have to hire a whole staff of people to fill out the paperwork.
Right.
That's what this political speech stuff is supposed to do. It's supposed to keep the rest of us from competing with the Bloombergs and all those crazies. So that's the reason why Citizens United was necessarily struck down.
Okay, so usually what Citizens United is used at on this show, okay, I don't know. I haven't done the research into Citizens United. Mostly I don't care because a corporation is an organization as far as I'm concerned. However, corporations tend to get they tend to get special dispensation from the government. You know, you can be a part of a corporation and not have responsibility for your actions in the same way a sole proprietor or partners would be, or any other organization of people in business. So what you'll find is a lot of people on the left really get agitated about this. Now, I believe the ideas of liberty should be open to those on the right and on the left. I think that we should welcome people in. And so what I try to use is rhetoric in that circumstance to talk to people in a way that they can understand. Look, the problem isn't that the government made corporations people, because the government's going to do whatever it wants whenever it wants to do it every single time. That's what it's done since time began, since governments began 9,000 years ago or whatever. They did whatever they wanted to do because they're controlled by rich, powerful people. What the people on the left, need to stop doing is stop wishing that people in government would do the right thing and start working against them, because people on the left really have this problem. It's huge for them, even worse than the people on the right. The people on the left are like, so those dirty, rotten scoundrels in Washington, D.C., if we just badger them hard enough and get the right ones in there, they'll suddenly act right. And they've been wrong about this for 150 years. They're just wrong.
They're going to keep dumping money into politics, no matter how you make the rules, because they're going to get their lawyers together and they're going to come up with ways to get around the rules. We keep seeing it. There's more and more money in politics all the time, no matter what rules they make. The big problem is little organizations like Cato, which is not, they're not huge. They have
they're huge compared to Free Talk Live, I'll tell you that.
They have a remarkably large footprint for how big they actually are. The same thing goes for a local one called the Independence Institute here in Colorado. And what would happen if a small organization with like 12 people, like the Independence Organization or Independence Institute, had to follow these laws? They could do maybe, if they're lucky, one commercial a year on one topic from a free market standpoint, because they have to fill out so much paperwork. They probably couldn't even do it in order to comply with the laws. And the idea is that all the people with all the money, your Bloombergs and your Soroses and all those people, they're going to find a way to get their word out no matter how you make the rules.
Yep, they're happy to spend millions or billions. They're happy to spend billions to get their message out, as long as their competition has to spend the same billions, because they've got the money to spend, their competition doesn't. I agree with you on that. I think that's absolutely right. But
that kind of thing is not possible, like the Ron Paul blimp, for example. That kind of thing is not possible in a world where you screw down the legislation really tight to where you've got to do reams of paperwork first.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.